who is Mrs. Flood? Well, currently we don't actually have an answer, but she is this character that has frequently appeared throughout Ncuti Gatwa's first season of Doctor Who. We first saw her appear in Church on Ruby Road, in which she is Ruby's neighbour, and she breaks the fourth wall, asking us if we have ever seen a TARDIS before. Then we see her in a brief cameo in 73 Yards for her to later return in The Legend of Ruby Sunday and the Empire of Death, where she seems to be scheming against the Doctor, but also happy the Doctor beat Sutek. And in Empire of Death, she actually breaks the fourth wall again, telling us of the Doctor's demise to come in season 2. Now, although we don't have an answer to who Mrs. Flood is, today I'll be going through a couple theories on who she might actually be in season 2. So let's just get straight into it. Now, a couple details I left out about Mrs. Flood's appearances in The Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death is that she is seen wearing clothes from previous companions, as well as stating some of their lines from previous episodes. The few that we know of are that the clothes she wears in Legend of Ruby Sunday are very reminiscent of Clara's outfit in Face the Raven and her final episode, Hellbent. Almost too identical. She also, in Empire of Death, states the line, "He's a clever boy," and she is directing this at the Doctor, which we know, again, is a line that Clara used to say all the time throughout her run on this show. Now, I don't know much about Classic Who, so this was spotted by other people, but in the final scene of this season, she is spotted wearing this white fluffy coat with this white umbrella, and apparently that outfit is very reminiscent of one that Romana wore in the classic series. Now, all of these could be accidental, but the fact that we're building up to something with Mrs. Flood, you would like to think they're intentional. And if they are, that must mean that she has some way of seeing through the Doctor's time stream and knowing what's happened in his life, or she's at least been present during all of these events. Because we've had Susan Twist be the character that is all throughout the Doctor's life, I'm going to assume it's the first idea, in that she can just see the Doctor's past. Going along with this, because of the fourth wall breaks, I'm assuming she's a god, because she knew of Sutek, for one, and also Maestro was another god from the Pantheon that was able to break the fourth wall. And so I'm just putting two and two together. We're gonna roll with she is a god. Now, saying that she is a god, I have two ideas of gods that she could be, and the first of those is Hades. In Greek mythology, Hades is the god of the underworld. Now, with them being the god of the underworld, they can easily interact with Clara, because as we know, Clara died in the season 9 finale, and Hades could also contact Romana, because for those of you that don't know, the companion Romana was a Time Lord, and all the Time Lords were said to be killed in the Time War. Although the Time War was fixed and everyone was brought back from that event, in Jodie Whittaker's second series, the Master actually destroyed Gallifrey once again, and everyone on it. And so we can presume right now Romana's also dead, making this two dead companions that Hades could be contacting, and as the King of the Underworld, he can get those details to then play them into the real world. Also, knowing the fate of a soul means that he can tell the future, and so we'll know of the Doctor's demise, which is what she told us about at the end of Empire of Death. Now, I think this theory is perfectly fine and actually does work. However, I still think it's a little loose with the King of the Underworld, because if these were companions of the Doctor, why would they give these details about the Doctor to the King of Hell when they are trying to stop the Doctor? I just don't see it. So I've got a second alternative god that I think Mrs. Flood could be. Now, I also think this god works better because it's an Egyptian god. And as we know, Sutek was based off of an Egyptian god called Set. So I think Mrs. Flood could actually be the god Anubis, which instantly this adds that extra connection because they're both Egyptian gods. That would now make even more sense as to why she knows about Sutek but isn't part of the Pantheon. At least, I don't think she is currently. So Anubis is actually the god of the dead, which is slightly different to Sutek, because Anubis doesn't cause death, but judges people's life upon death. Along with this, Anubis has the ability to see into the whole life of a mortal. So without having to manipulate companions or actively interfere with the Doctor's timeline, they can just see into it, both in the past and the future. This allows them to see what Clara was wearing when she died and the Doctor lost her, which, if we remember, is one of the hardest losses he has faced. And Anubis would also be able to see the lines from those people as they can look into the memories of the Doctor. This also allows him to see the outfits that Romana was wearing. And maybe even the clothes we see Mrs. Flood wear that don't seem like companions' clothes could be part of the future companions, or even some of the timeless children Doctor's companions, which is quite a cool idea. Being able to see the whole time stream instantly allows them to see the Doctor's future as well, and that's how they will know the Doctor's demise is coming up in season 2. I just think this theory actually makes perfect sense. With that said, that is both the theories I have. I'm not sure if any of these theories will come true, but maybe partially. If you have any theories of your own, make sure to drop them down in the comments. I would love to know what you think of Mrs. Flood, and if you have any ideas of who she could be. I think it's a really fun conversation to have right now. With that said, that is all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.